last Saturday, a lot of communication errors offensively. We've got to do the little things a lot better. I mean, a lot better, all of us, and then we'll get the big things that we're after. You know, it starts with, we gotta have accurate communication up front. It starts with, then the snap's gotta be accurate, where Dreyfus doesn't have to leave the area to go get the ball. And then your timing of an option plays off, and we no longer have a good path between the running back and Dreyfus because he's a step behind. So it's those little things that we have to do better, and that we have to focus on. And when, you know, we also, you talk to them too, you don't need to look at the scoreboard, you just need to play this play. Where a year ago we asked them to grade themselves after every play. From a communication effort standpoint, we're going to go back to what got us here.
Can you talk a little bit about the movement of Ross and Preston?
Well, Ross, you talking about in positionally? Ross has been hampered with some leg injuries, so he's not running very well, but he's still the best we got. Preston's very athletic, has been very disruptive. You know, we're kind of got some areas where we're banged up, and we're just trying to move some people around to get everybody in the right area to make plays. I was very proud of the way Ross played. Taped up as he was, you know, and he had some good production for us.
Have you talked to Dreyfus just kind of about the scoring struggles that you guys had on Saturday? None of them came from it came out of the OWL.
Well, yeah, actually I've talked to Dreyfus Sunday and had Dreyfus back in my office again today. And one of the things that he and we have to do is he doesn't need to put so much pressure on himself to play. A year ago, Dreyfus managed the football game by taking care of the ball and making sure the ball got where it needed to go. And he made great decisions with the football. You know, if it was a bad option play, he may just fall on it, take a 2-yard loss instead of trying to do a pitch. We're just talking to him about being Dreyfus and what he's got us here. He doesn't need to do any more. We need him just to be a great leader, to inspire people through his efforts. And you know, he didn't have to make every play. You know, I think Dreyfus had already come to a lot of those conclusions before we sat down and met. Dreyfus is our starting quarterback. And we're going to win a lot of games this year with him.
What do you think has caused the change?
I think putting just too much pressure on himself to try to make sure everything's perfect, and it can't be. You know, you win football games by working hard and having fun. And Dreyfus has been working hard, but he hasn't had a lot of fun. He's been putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he's got to go back to like when he was. I talked to him today about when he was a young man in his backyard, or a kid in his backyard, you know, dreaming of being great. He's got to go back to just getting that swagger back and having fun and relying on people around him.
There were 2 different cases where you had 10 men on the field penalties, or just, no?
No, you talking about on the punt where I took a timeout?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was, we changed our groupings.
Okay.
And that's also what I'm talking about, communication. We obviously have to work on that. We have somebody assigned to go get that young man who happens to be on offense on the field. It didn't happen. That means I haven't worked on it enough. I had to take a timeout. The other one I think you're probably referring to was on a field goal where we were in one of our packages and we got to go back to base. You know, once again, I got to do more substitution where that's a natural flow.
What are you expecting this week with another conference game?
Well, you know, I know you watched the video, and FAU got to an overtime game with Tulsa. Then their starting quarterback got hurt against Miami, and he came back last week against Charlotte. So he's a 5th-year senior that's played pretty well for him. So we're going to see a different football team, really. You can watch through to the Tulsa game, and it's a different quarterback.
Coach, you just mentioned fifth-year quarterback, the defensive playing this week against, and then last week was a sixth-year. What do they bring forth that inexperienced guys do at the position when they've been at the?
Usually those fifth and sixth-year quarterbacks, they just have a calmness in the pocket where they've seen it all before, where you don't ever see them flustered. We could get Brandon flustered last week. We blitzed him. He found the open receivers when he needed them. We thought we could get him running out of the pocket where he wasn't as accurate, but we really couldn't get that much. We hit him a couple of times, but we couldn't get there in time. Any more, to get a sack. It used to be, you'd tell a defense you had 4 seconds to get to the quarterback, then it was 3 seconds, then it was 2 seconds. And now you're looking at an average of about 1.8 seconds that you have to get a defense there, be it a linebacker, a D-line if you're blitzing, or you have to make the quarterback through coverage, kind of pump the ball to buy you some time. And that's we're not getting that. We've got to get some straight line blitzes going. We got to get the quarterback where if we can't get there at 1.8, he's confused through coverage. 6-year guys, you don't confuse him. We knew exactly where everybody was and where we were rolling to. He's a very talented young man. That's you'll see he'll be drafted pretty early.
Coach, obviously Saturday was disappointing, and you never want to lose, but it can kind of be a blessing to see all of these different deficiencies that you guys need to correct.
I don't know if it's ever a blessing. It's not in conference. That's one of the things, where, once again, I got to do a better job of getting the right people out on the field at the right time. Some of these deficiencies that are showing, we didn't see them earlier. They're showing up now. First and foremost, to win, you got to make sure we trust each other. Players got to trust us. We got to trust them that we're all doing our jobs effectively. And that's what we have a team meeting today, and I really look forward to it. I want them to know exactly what I'm thinking, and I want to hear what they're thinking. I know we see a team that's doesn't like losing. Losing isn't going to settle in around here. That's not going to happen. We're prideful young men. And like I said earlier, I think you'll see coaches and players more determined than ever to get this thing going back in the right direction. We've lost 2 in a row. We don't like losing. I think you'll see everybody will have the attitude of whatever it takes. From possible some position or switch changes to some movement lineup. We got to get the right people out there.
Having the leadership that you do and guys who are very prideful and take a lot upon themselves, it's hard to control them and not let them try to do more than they can do.
Well, that's kind of part of our problem right now, and we got to find a solution, is everybody just needs to do their job. And if everybody just do their job and not try to do other people's jobs, defense, everybody's got 1/11th. If they do their 1/11th, we're going to be in great shape. When you have a responsibility to be a D-gap player and all of a sudden you're pulling yourself in the C gap or running over to the B gap and then the ball's bouncing out to the D gap, that's a trust issue. We've got to get back to where we all trust each other to do both offensively and defensively, to do your job and settle in and trust and play with confidence.
Anything else? We have Calvin?